Hello, this is a sideshow, and I'm Theodore Parker, and today is Friday, April the 21st, 2023. If you're watching the sideshow on Facebook or Instagram, don't forget to like, comment, and share. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Sideshow coffee cup. 11-ounce ceramic, black with the white logo, the sideshow. You can buy from me for $17 plus shipping and handling. Pay me through Cash App, $TR Parker 1. I have a couple of things to cover today, Friday, this afternoon, officially be the weekend. So let's start with the coffee cup. When I first conceptualized this idea, investigated it, followed up, and ordered, I was thinking of the audience of the sideshow being worldwide. So some of you may think this is the only coffee cup that I have. So if you send me money, I will just keep the money and keep displaying the cup. Not true. Since it is an international audience, I figured this way. That if you receive mail anywhere in the world, have an address to have mail sent to, then you can receive a coffee cup. And it's not just this one. I have boxes of them, so don't be shy. That being said, talk about COVID for a few minutes. This is usually the part of the show, or has been for almost 3 years, where I put on the mask and tell you that if COVID-19 is above 5% in your area, don't forget to wear the mask if you're going out around to be in the public, around people. So now that has changed. Within the past few weeks, President Biden has signed off on COVID-19 no longer being a pandemic condition. Of course, he had his own presidential schedule for May the 11th, but Congress expedited it, and a few days ago, maybe a week ago, it was signed off on. So that being said, there's still probably a few places where COVID-19 might be above 5%, but I'm sure they're working on that. I had a couple of COVID stories for you that I wanted to share. I remember, and let me pause here and say, to all of you that have lost loved ones related to COVID-19, you have my sympathy and condolences on that matter. So one of my stories goes like this. The first time that I got tested for COVID-19, I really was not prepared. It was like, oh, what is this? And then my next thought was, who thought of this? And if you've been tested for COVID-19, you know what I'm referring to, inserting the device up your nostril and taking a swab. And it's not long. It seems like forever, but it's probably just a few seconds. And there you have it. So my first experience that I'm going to relate to you has to do with the doctor's visit. So you know that at some point there was a COVID-19 test required to visit the doctor and for it to be negative. So in this particular instance, my appointment was with the dentist. And I was, had been talking to the dentist. We had made some arrangements. I was happy that I was going. And a dentist visit is not what most people are anxious to go through. But this dentist, I give her credit. She, was really good. There was no excessive pain involved and all this type of stuff. She talked with me. We arranged what was needed, took care of it. So this first appointment, um, I enter the building, do the screening. They tell me that to get the COVID test, I have to go to another area. So I go to the other area. I'm like, because I got this first experience on my mind. So I get it done. I come back, go up to the waiting area for the dentist, and the nurse comes out and tells me that, Mr. Parker, you're aware that you have to have a COVID-19 test before you see the dentist. And so I'm like, well, I just went over there to this other area and got one. And, I just came back. So she says, oh, well, those tests don't come back for 48 to 72 hours. The one that we want to give you is rapid test. It takes about 15 minutes. So I was like, again? And those are the noises I was actually making. So finally she said, well, would you like to reschedule? And I'm like, well, I done come all this distance from another city and I'm here now. And okay. So they give me another test and then I see the doctor. So that's like 2 COVID-19 tests within the hour of each other. So I was not a happy camper. I was happy about the doctor's visit and all that, but I was not happy to have 2 tests in less than an hour. Now, the next experience that I'm going to relate to you, COVID, is that I was in a group situation. I have to wear your brain out about what a group situation is. Anybody that's in a group that has to spend time together. Okay. So one of the members of the group had gone out for a while, and when they returned, they said that they had tested positive for COVID-19. So someone came and announced to the group that since somebody had tested positive, then all of us were on lockdown until they could arrange for the group to be tested and we got the results back. Now, in those days, it wasn't like walk in and, get your test and find out what it is and come on out. You had to schedule it. Then everybody had to have it at the same time. Then you had to wait on the results. And in this particular instance, I think we got them through an email. So here we are, locked down, COVID-19, waiting on test results. This happened twice. So that's just a couple of stories, that I thought I would pass on now that we've moved away from the pandemic situation of COVID-19, but still have to have our ordinary precautions as far as sanitation, washing our hands, and things of this nature. So the next thing that I wanted to talk to you about, since I haven't done a really health thing in a little while, whether it's physical health or mental health, and this is related to the men, and it has to do with the most popular waist size that men's pants are sold in. And that waist size is a 36. So what does that have to do with anything? Well, most of your health issues are related to or start to occur or appear when a man's waist size is above 40, especially referencing things like diabetes. So if all you men out there in the audience that are listening, you can use that as a guideline. 40 or more, you're putting yourself at risk for health issues. 40 or less, you slim those risks down. And I'm not a 36, but I'm not a 40 either. Just so you know. Next thing, March 22nd, we entered into the spring months. So that age-old thing, spring cleaning. Some of you might be enthusiastic about it. Some of you, like myself, don't look forward to it, but know it still has to be done. So my suggestion is you don't have to do it all at once. I mean, if you have help and you can get it knocked out in a weekend. Officially, tomorrow will be the 22nd. Spring started on the 22nd of March. That'll be 1 month. Or if you have a slowed down metabolism or anything that, working, time schedule, whatever, maybe you can do a couple of hours a week and have it done by the beginning of summer. Either way, that being said, while you're doing your spring cleaning, don't forget to go through your dry goods and canned goods for expired items. And also your refrigerator for expired items, and toss them out. Now, my reason behind this is based on my experience. First one is that for almost 2 years, I worked for the Department of Agriculture as a food inspector, just a little bit shy of 2 years. And that's based on the fact that I was living in one city and the workplace was in another city, which constituted about 140 miles round trip, 5 days a week. The next thing is that after I left that job with the Department of Agriculture, I worked as a certified food service manager for 12 years. And to kind of help you appreciate what I'm referencing here, when you go in a restaurant, near the door, there's usually this little green card or plaque or something like that with a number on it. Okay, that number is put there by environmental health. Usually the common layman's term is food inspectors. And if that number is below 95, then that establishment has to close. It cannot be open for business. So a certified food service manager has to be on site when that inspection is done. So that's what I did for 12 years. Presently, outside of the meals that I prepare for myself, where I take my meals at, has a 100. So keep all that in mind. And my suggestion on the refrigerator, if you do it before you go grocery shopping, then there's less items to move around, like wiping the shelves on the door, et cetera, handles and things of that nature. And if you have little ones that are getting things for themselves, you might have those little spilled items and things like that. So bring the groceries in, put them all in the refrigerator, putting them away, and then going through it. That's just extra work. So that's my suggestion. Next thing. Actually, since the holidays of last year and into this year, most of my attention has been on family business or family matters. So I haven't really given Facebook page and its related apps like a daily look-see, but I do look even if I do not comment. And I am using this opportunity to welcome the people that I brought in over the past couple of days. It was a bunch of them, so some of you have been waiting anywhere from a few days to a few weeks to a few months, and one person had even been waiting a year. So I laud your patience. Thank you for persevering. Now you're in. So this portion is like the introduction to you people that have not been on my Facebook page before. There, besides the Facebook guidelines, community guidelines, I have a few personal preferences myself. Some of you that I've had conversations with before know how I am. I'll drop in text-wise, so to speak, and say hello and, you know, give you the information I have to pass on. You know, if you have any comments, I'll listen. But when the final line goes down, it will be what I say. Theodore Parker's name is on the Facebook page, and it promotes the sideshow with Theodore Parker. So if I say this is not acceptable on this page, then it's not acceptable on this page. So I'm just saying. So I do not buy PlayStation cards, gift cards, Steam cards, Amazon cards, Google cards. None of those things do I buy. And most requests of that nature, I just say no. And here's an example of why that is the case. Someone might say to me, or has said to me in the past, I don't have to call names because it's not just one person, buy me a Steam card so I can get gas in my car and come see you. Well, where are you? California. Okay. No, I'm not going to do that. Why? Anyway, the next thing is you say, well, if I put what I want to put up, post it, then what does that have to do with you? I mean, I'm posting it. Okay, I accept that comment, but here's the reality of it. All of us have to live somewhere, whether we're renting or whether we have that mansion, you know. So just to say that in the case of a renter or a person that has a mansion, let's say they have a house sitter that they have gotten while they go off, you know, for whatever amount of time, weeks or months, and they return. They find holes in the walls. They find the carpet is tore up or the tile is tore up. The plumbing fixtures are off the wall. Some of the windows are broken out. So when you approach the person that has been there, and say, well, what happened? And they tell you, oh man, don't worry about that. That ain't nothing. So that's my mindset when you tell me that you can do whatever you want on my page. No. So, welcome new people. You know, as long as you're here, hope you enjoy your stay. And those of you that have been away and have started posting again and texting me again, nice to hear from you again. All right. So let's get into some of these items for today. The other thing, I don't have a personal vehicle, and some people that I know have allowed me to use one of their vehicles to keep a schedule. So I'm able to listen to the radio in the car. So, you know, I'm catching shows and different things like that. So I didn't even realize that I had missed it that much. But that being said, in Kentucky, there's a web page for disaster preparedness. And of the things that are listed on that page, a radio is included with extra batteries. So don't minimize the importance of radio. So today, the source of my media's information is from this little section. I have several media sources, but this one is under the title of For You, which means I guess they kind of tailored it for me in particular. So first up, from Russia. Over here, the big yellow spot, Russia. Excuse me. allergies, nasal sprays, pills notwithstanding. Whenever you see the trees blowing in the wind like that, that pollen is still going on, circulating and everything. So, put it down. Russian source, diaper-wearing Vladimir Putin suffered nervous breakdown after switching to stronger cancer medication. Kremlin insiders claim. So this is not what somebody said or passed along. It's coming straight out of Russia and from the Kremlin. Vladimir Putin is reportedly wearing diapers and suffering from nervous breakdowns while receiving treatment for an alleged cancer diagnosis, RadarOnline.com has learned. In a surpassing development to come after months of rumors and reports that 70-year-old Russian leader is slowly dying, Kremlin sources claim Putin suffered a breakdown this week after switching to a stronger cancer medication. According to sources, Putin's alleged breakdown took place on Tuesday night inside the Russian despot's Moscow home. At about 21:40, that's military time, Moscow time, the presidential guards heard strange sounds from the room where the president was, Kremlin insiders reportedly told the Telegram channel General SVR. Putin did not answer a knock on the door. Attempts to determine what was happening in other ways did not bring results. Putin sat on the floor near the sofa and wept hysterically, the report continued. He was wearing only a wet white t-shirt, which he had probably tried to take off, and a black sock on his right leg. Next to him was a torn diaper, which Putin has been wearing all the time lately, the insiders spilled further. To all appeals to him, the president practically did not react, continuing to sob. Out of Russia, out of the Kremlin. Next, why you should shut off the water supply. Now, this was a video, okay, so I can't not do anything but tell you about it. So the video, and it says funny video. The video showed a fireman at the fire hydrant removing the cap for the water prior to attaching the hoses and things of this nature. So remember, it says why you should shut off the water supply. So when the cap was fully removed, the water came out. And anybody that knows fire hydrant water has a tremendous force. So it blew him down the street into one of those little poles that show you parking or don't park here or something like that, street sign deals. So it was kind of funny, but it's just like the same thing, turn off the power before you work on the electricity. So he should have known that, but he didn't remember. Next. Video shows Cook County Corrections officer beating inmate more than 30 times. When it's on video, it's on video. As Twitter removes legacy verification, Elon Musk says he's personally paying for some users' Blue subscription. And this was accompanied with the picture of Elon Musk and LeBron James. Twitter made good on its promise to remove legacy verification badges from users on Thursday, but the company's CEO, Elon Musk, appears desperate enough to keep some top users, including LeBron James and Stephen King, on the platform by paying for their Twitter Blue subscriptions. Excuse me. All right. Meta employees criticized Mark Zuckerberg's second round of layoffs in an internal forum. You shattered the moral and confidence in leadership, report says. Meta's second round of layoffs expected to affect 10,000 staff, began Wednesday. Employees criticized Mark Zuckerberg and other managers on internal company forums, per Reuters. You shattered the moral and confidence in leadership, one question said. Why should we stay at Meta? So, amidst all of this, I already told you that Facebook is not going against the class action suit for its users to the tune of $725 million. Timeline has accompanied the announcement. If you didn't hear, check it out. Biden 2024 campaign announcement coming as soon as next week. Now, you remember the incident of the Sweet 16 party where there was a mass shooting. Okay, over the past couple of days, they had apprehended 3 people, twin brothers and a third person. Now, 5th person arrested in connection with mass shooting in Dadeville. Former WWE wrestler charged with theft of millions from Mississippi welfare program. You know, over the past several months from last year, this has been in the news, involved several celebrities and athletes. So now, WWE wrestler has been charged. Signed letters, Mar-a-Lago dinners, Trump's personal touch in fighting DeSantis. Wyoming abortion clinic opens despite arson, legal obstacles. And all the way to Africa, here, Ugandan president refuses to sign LGBTQ bill, seeks changes. Sports, Kawhi Leonard out for Clippers in Game 3 against the Suns. DeSantis signs law-lowering death penalty threshold in Florida. I didn't really read into that, but I know there's been some discussion in Florida about the death penalty. Here's one. Woman sentenced to 21 years for trying to kill look-alike with poisoned cheesecake. Police made arrest in 20-year-old New York cold case after DNA links suspect to death of Megan McDonald. This was 20 years ago. At the time, she was 20 years old. And this small town of Rock Hill, New York, she was returning home from a dance with friends and disappeared. And her father was a former New York City detective. So now DNA has linked and verified and confirmed the person responsible for her death through blunt force trauma. So the family had made a statement about that. Fox News. Maria Bartiromo and Janine Pirro to be fired from Fox News as Rupert Murdoch moves to be less vulnerable after $787.5 million defamation settlement, critic predicts. Now, since we're talking about Fox News, this is not confirmed, it's not a fact, it's just a supposition, and here is the reasoning behind it. In a sudden development to come just 2 days after Dominion agreed to settle their $1.6 billion defamation lawsuit against Fox News for $787.5 million, Puck founder and Fox News critic Dylan Byers predicted both Bartiromo and Pirro will be axed from the network. So here's his reasoning. Byers specifically cited a series of remarks made by Murdoch during his deposition in which the 92-year-old media mogul suggested the network's commentators, and not the network itself, endorsed false claims the 2020 presidential election was stolen from then President Donald Trump. That's it. Hashtag.